Hello and welcome to the Vital Red Pill. Today's topic is what is happening in Germany. Elections are coming up in a few days, and the whole country is, of course, in turmoil. If you follow the news, you will see a lot of contradictory actions from Germany. Mostly, this can be explained by media induced mass psychosis. A lot of people are not acting in their best interest, but in their perceived best interest. I think Americans already know this best. It is what's happening in Germany with many people can be described as a German type of TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. And instead of directed towards Trump, it is directed towards the AfD. There are a lot of quotes of media people who said, yes, we do not censor anything, but between the lines we said that you have to don't like this party. And there's a lot of parallel. Long story short, if you know how the American media is treating Trump, then you know how the German media is treating this new party. Is this new party going to be the Lord and Savior in Germany? No. But they will turn the things around, like Trump did in Germany, like Trump did America. So, in the following elections, the most likely winners will be these two parties and these two people that you need to know. So we have Mr. Merz. He is sponsored by BlackRock. He's a very big BlackRock guy. And then we have Mrs. Alice Weidel from the AfD, from this new blue party. And she was a Goldman Sachs banker. So Germany has a choice between BlackRock and Goldman Sachs. How much if Alice Weidel will become the new president, which is very unlikely. The question, of course, is how much of their program she will push through. While Mr. Merz is how should I say this? He is a very big lover of his employers, and he will do whatever they say. What we experience right now in Germany is, let me rephrase it. It seems that a lot of influential and powerful groups, especially Trump, want that the course in Germany changes. We can see this especially that when Trump was elected, the very next day or the same day, the German government was dissolved and re-elections were decided upon. This is quite ridiculous, actually, because it was really like Trump is elected and the same day or next day, yeah, and by the way, we realize our government failed and we just realize it right now, not the years before. And the reason why they did it so late and they set the new elections is so that they can. The reasons why the re-election were postponed to the 23rd of February and not earlier was so that a lot of these people who are currently in the government can get the right to receive pension funds. Because once you have been in the government for X amount of days or X amount of years, then you have the right to receive your pension funds, which are pretty high. So yes, it seems that the world is changing. Big forces who are behind Trump want that Germany will change. Change in Germany. But will it happen? It's a bit tough. Of course, they have all the money and the power behind them. But the problem in Germany right now is that we have, 10 years or more, decades of media manipulation. The people in Germany are pretty much brainwashed. Not all of them, but many of them are brainwashed to think that whatever the TV says is the truth. And we also have a lot of people who are literally being paid by the government to protest against certain political parties who are right-wing political parties. And there was a report recently that 182 million euros are spent every year that are given to small, independent, non-governmental organizations and clubs and all these clubs are pretty much working against the right political parties. For example, there is one famous group now, it's famous because of the name, it's called Grandmas Against the Right. Omas gegen rechts. It means that it's a group of grandmas who are against the right-wing part of politics. And they're also being financed by the government. In part. But the most important point is not all of these protests that you have seen in the last recent days or weeks are 100% paid by the government. The organizers are most likely part of groups that are being paid by the government, but there are also a lot of activists who are doing it because they believe that this is the most important thing to save our democracy, as it's always said. The funny thing, in Germany we have multiple parties, and only one party is considered not democratic. So, for example, we have media people who say, yes, and if you go to the election on Sunday, please vote for a Democratic Party. So the word democracy is being used to describe only the current system. Only what is, according to the current groups of people, is the democratic, is considered democratic. Everything else is considered not democratic. Yeah, funny. So why is Germany so crazy is because we have the structure of the German society, very simplified, can be summed up like this. We have a group of people, like, I don't know, half of 50%. These are just the passive people, they just do whatever and keep mum. Then we have a group of people, which are also pretty large. These are the people who profit from the current system, from the current state of affairs. You need to know that Germany is becoming more and more non-capitalistic, meaning that the government, the public expenditure quota, is officially at 50%. It means that of every euro that is being spent in Germany, 50%, so 50 cents, the government spends. So it is, that's only the official number. The unofficial number is higher. So almost everywhere the government has its fingers in it. It is, and also a lot of people profit. For example, if you had before 2015, before the big event, if you had a lot of small apartments and nobody was living in them and the apartments were not in good shape, and then suddenly 2015 happened and you have millions of more people in the country, so who's paying for the people who are living in your apartments? The government is paying you for your crappy houses where before nobody was living in. So a lot of people profit from the current system and they don't want the system to change. And that's why they are financing NGOs and other things that are protesting against the right-wing party, because the right-wing party wants to change things up. So you can imagine Germany like a block of passive people, a block of people who profit from this, and then you have the crazy activists. These are people who are doing it for free. They go to the streets and will punch anybody who has an opposing opinion because they believe it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. And then you have the elites. The elites, they are quiet. They don't like to be in the spotlight, and they let all the other people do the dirty work. So if, for example, now suddenly the elites, or whoever is in charge of this mister, or who is controlling this mister, or maybe even this missus, whatever, if they decide that Germany has now to turn to the right, that Germany should follow the lead of America, they will have a hard time to change all these systems, because a lot of people are profiting from it and they wanted the system to change, to keep the way it is. And these people don't have to be super rich people. It can be just a landlord in a normal town who is owning, like, let's say 2 buildings, and one of these buildings is rented out to refugees, so he's afraid that he will lose some profit. Or let's say some fashion brand shop like C&A, because if you go to C&A you will see it's full of people who just recently arrived in Germany and need a lot of clothes, or of people who are getting free money to buy clothes each year and this and that. So they would also lose a lot of money if politics would change, because right now a lot of money is taken from these people and ends up somehow in the pockets of these and these people. So they don't want the status quo to change. It's like trying to change the flow of a river. You need to invest a lot of energy to make a river flow from the left suddenly to the right. And there are a lot of rocks and other structures that want the flow of water to remain as it is right now. So you will see that the media in the next days will go, oh my god, so crazy. How could a right-wing party get so many percent in Germany? Is Germany turning towards this side or that side? Some media will say this, some other media will say, yes, Germany is becoming more common sense now. But in the end, it's a big question what will really happen. I know that many people would be happy if this party would get more votes, because it would mean that Germany would have to turn a little bit more towards common sense. The Trump derangement syndrome is the best explanation for what is happening in Germany, really. There are a lot of comments under YouTube videos where people are saying like, oh no, my girlfriend is coming from Poland, and now if this party is getting elected, I'm thinking about moving out to Canada and this and that. You know the drill, it's the same. So now, because I have a little bit of time, let's talk more about this new party and who it is and what they are. So the Alternative for Germany, Alternative für Deutschland, was founded many years ago, and they were back then they were considered a professional party, a doctor party, a party with a lot of PhD owners, where the big part of the party were a lot of PhD people. And there was an interview recently with this lady, with Frauke Petri. She was a member of the AfD back then, before she retired. And she said that in the beginning, the party is very small, and you have a solid core. But then the party got some media attention, and a lot of people joined the party. And it means, because of the Democratic Party, all these people who have suddenly joined the party, they have a lot more power, because of the Democratic Party with democratic decisions, to change the course of the party. So if the party wanted to go this way, all the people can suddenly vote that the party goes into this direction or into that direction, whatever the people want. And she said that a lot of groups, when this party became famous, a lot of right-wing groups, previous ex-Nazi groups and other groups and unknown groups joined the party, and they had no vetting process. They had no way to prevent unwanted groups to join, because they didn't know. You cannot know everybody in Germany, so if 1,000 people want to join your party, you're happy. But then another 1,000 and another 1,000, and you think, wow, my God, we're growing big, we'll become big, but in what direction will the train move on? So it's unknown. The political system in Germany is very strange, because you have the masses, and only the party decides who will get promoted. So if you have 10 people in the ground level, so only 2 of them will be chosen to rise up, and then of these 2, only 1 will go high, and so on and so on. So the party has a lot of possibilities to choose only the right members to let them rise up. Which leads to a lot of corruption and opportunism. So if somebody says, hey, vote for me and I will vote for you, and then, one hand washes the other, and a lot of people are, also what Frauke Petri said, a lot of people who join a party are opportunists. They just want to earn money and fame and cash and profit as fast as possible, and power. So if you have an ideological core that wants, for example, in the case of the AfD, their core belief in the beginning was that Germany should leave the Eurozone, because the euro is not good for Germany. And currently this is not the topic anymore, because other things happen, and so on and so on. And if you have heard, German government also wants to make this party legal. At least there have been a lot of talks about making this party legal. This is quite funny, because it will never happen. Because it happened before with another party. It was the Nationalist Party for Germany, the NPD, and they were really nationalists, so they had really open. If you would see a meeting of them, you would think, okay, yes, they look more like Nazi party. You have a lot of right-wing groups and some small groups with skinheads and this and that. And the government, because all the parties said, look, they're so evil, we saw them in the news all the time in this election. They were used to scare the people to vote more for the leftist ideals, and so on and so on. When this party was in front of the court, and they wanted to make this party legal, what the government had to do is the government had to tell the court how many Secret Service informants were inside of this party. And the results was that there were more than 50% of the leadership of the most right-wing party in Germany were governmental informants. So the government always knew exactly what is happening. The government had always control over this party. The government could tell them, hey guys, in the next election, vote this direction, or vote this direction, or vote this direction. So the government is in charge of its own most right-wing party. This is what can happen if you have a multi-party system. So why will the AfD never be made illegal? Because if they start a court process, then the government has to display how many Secret Service agents are working or how many informants are in the AfD leadership. And it would be more than they want to admit to. And maybe some very famous people are also secretly working for the government. That would be not nice. What is the government like for the Secret Service? The BND, Bundesnachrichtendienst. This is, I think, the FBI or CIA of the Germany. Yeah, so it's just a lot of derangement syndrome where quotes are taken out of context and this and that, and it's very annoying. It's very boring after a while because you see the same thing happening all the time. Somebody said something, and then, as we say in Germany, they make out of a mosquito, they turn a mosquito into an elephant. It means they take a little thing and blow it up so it's the biggest topic ever. My God, how could they do this and this and that? And yeah, it's the same thing with the media in Germany as you have in the US. But the big advantage in the US is that you have no official state government TV that is so strong. Because we have in Germany, we have the government TV and everybody has to pay, I think, like about $20 each month. You have to pay it. If you don't pay, you can go to prison. And there are even some people who are in prison right now because they didn't pay the governmental TV taxes. And this money is used for the following: for TV programs, for YouTube things. There are also YouTube channels that are getting money. But the biggest amount of all the money, it is like 5 billion. I will fix it on the screen right now. It's a huge amount of money that's being collected every year. It's like you could make Hollywood level blockbuster movies. But why don't you see anything impressive out of Germany? Because of corruption. All that money ends up for pension funds. Not all, but a lot. So let's say you are a politician in a high-level party and you did some good things, and the government would like to, or the system would like to reward you, so they give you a position where you are like in the, as an example, you will become something that's equivalent to California mainstream TV channel supervisor. So you're just sitting in a board of members, you're sitting in a board with 12 other people, and you make sure that the TV shows that are being produced in this country, in this zone, are appropriate and are fulfilling the standards. And you do this job for a couple of years, and then you qualify to get your pension funds, and then you get a couple thousand euros per month for this. So the TV tax is being used to give people money. So that's why I'm telling that a lot of people are profiting from the system that is currently in Germany, and that's why they don't want it to change. Will there be a big change? No, it's very hard to change a lot in Germany because of laws and regulations and rules. It requires a big earthquake that things will change in Germany. But let's see, because supposedly a lot of people want that Germany will change to another direction, because that's where the world has to go at the moment, according to the plans. Let's see. Yes, and of course it is pretty ridiculous that in Germany the mainstream parties are starting court cases or planning to start court cases to turn the opposition illegal. This is literally, Soviet Union stuff. No, not Soviet. That's what you would expect from Russia or from other dictatorships, but that is what you expect from Russia, but not from Germany. It's pretty sad and disappointing. And also that the main government is paying NGOs and other groups to start protests against the opposition. And these protests are, of course, getting a lot of media attention, while all the protests that are against, for example, during the times of 2020, there were also a lot of protests, and all these protests it was made sure that the reporting in the news was keeping all the protests down. So If a lot of people were there, they said, yeah, 5 people were there, but there were a lot of people. Yeah, a quick overview over the German political system is we had the Christian Union, we had this workers' union, then we have the Green Party, which has been very prominent recently. They had a lot of decision power. Then we have literally the Left Party, and we have the federal, like Liberal Party, but they fucked up and they lost all credibility because they did nothing what was liberal. They always just were kissing the asses of whoever was in charge. The way German politics works for Americans is that if multiple parties have to make a coalition because they don't get enough votes, so let's say the Left Party would get 5%, the minimum amount, and the CDU would get, let's say, 33%, and let's say for some reason these two could make a party together. Let's make it 45%. 46. Let's say, for example, they got 46% of the votes, they got 5% of the votes. So it means then these two groups have to work together. This means that despite only having gotten 5% of the votes, the left can say no to each decision of the big party. The small party can say no to each decision of the big party. And thus, the smallest party can have a big amount of power, as if they had gotten 25% of the votes. Or maybe 50%, because if the CDU, for example, would cooperate with the leftist party, and they want to decrease taxes, the leftist parties could, if they want to decrease taxes, the leftist party could say, no, it's impossible to decrease taxes. As long as you want to work with us, you have to increase taxes for the rich, let's say, whatever leftist talking points they want to press through. So this is the crazy system in Germany that despite only getting a little amount of votes, very small parties like the Green Party in the recent years can have a big amount of impact on all the political decisions in the country. And then we have so yeah, this can also mean that if the AfD and the CDU would cooperate, which is according to the current situation, it would be worse than everything else, which would be impossible according to the current situation. So let's say if the AfD would work together with any other party, then the AfD could also use its minority power to push through some more right-wing ideas. That's why at the moment they say all the parties are working together and they have created a so-called firewall. That no decision, no nothing can ever be made using the voices from the AfD. So factually, what happens is that you have the choice of two parties. You either vote for the AfD or you vote for one of these groups, because their policies are all very similar. All of them are turning towards left, green, and also important to know is that the media, the mainstream media, is mainly consisting out of leftist and Green Party voters. There were some questionnaires, some surveys, and most of the people who work in the media said, yes, we are left and we vote Green, or the other two parties also. So yeah, that's the situation in Germany. We are going to get a new government. The old government, as I told you in the previous videos, there was the quick summary of the previous videos about Germany is there were new elections, Merkel stepped down, and there were 3 people. So we had the lady Mrs. Baerbock, who is currently our foreign minister. Maybe you've seen her in your country, and she made a fool out of herself. So she was destined to be the number 1. But the problem with her is that she, no matter how well you train her, no matter how well the media portrays her, whenever she opens her mouth, she makes spelling mistakes, pronunciation mistakes, and other mistakes. So people didn't like her because she was a little bit shameful. It would be shameful if she would become president. Then there was the number 2. Number 2 vote. He laughed in a very inappropriate moment after a big flood happened in Germany. So a lot of people died, lost everything, and he was seen during a TV presentation in the background laughing. And this was the killing moment for him. And then there was number 3. He was only starting. Oh, yeah. Then there was number 3. He actually didn't want to become president. He was only chosen so that this party would also have somebody. And he became president because all the other options were ridiculous or made themselves impossible. So now, the current election, we have the question between Merz or Weidel or Habeck. Habeck is the Green Party. Habeck is the Green Party person who was in charge of economics in the recent years. And he made a big mess in Germany that almost caused the collapse of Germany, I would say, but that's a topic of another video. I've never seen Germany so tense while during his time of office. So most likely it's gonna be this guy with the power of all the other parties. So all the other parties want to make sure that he will become chancellor, no matter how stupid the coalition is gonna be. Yeah, and then we will have a BlackRock guy in charge of Germany who will do whatever somebody whispers into his ears.